We have come to the final battle in the theater of Europe. The reason the Americans did not help the Soviets invade Berlin was the Americans, Canadians, and British were coming in from the west. The Soviets, Russians, Ukrainians, Belarusians, etc., were coming in from the east. So, of course, if we were going to head to Berlin, Americans would have to go in, lose a large number of their battalions, a lot of Americans would have to die, and then they'd have to come back the way they came. So, yeah, we didn't want to do that. We didn't want to risk lives just to pointlessly turn around. So, of course, we allowed the Russians to invade. We stopped at a little river called the Elbe, which is 50 miles away from Berlin. After then, the American army was pretty much done in Europe. Yeah. And, of course, the Russians showed no mercy. Soviet Field Marshal Georgy Zhukov ordered them to destroy the city and find Hitler. Stalin wanted Hitler to face extreme pain before he died, because these two hated each other. They hated everybody, but they primarily hated each other. And of course, they had points to destroy. They had to destroy the Reichstag. Again, that building will never catch a break. SS and Gestapo headquarters, and their primary target, Hitler's bunker. And they destroyed all these places, but they practically destroyed the whole city. 2.5 million Soviet soldiers invaded the city and broke down the gates. The golden eagle that the Germans used as a symbol would never be used as a symbol again. Stalin's words were, "Kill the eagle," I believe. And then they broke down the gates of Berlin, they charged into Berlin, and they invaded from the west, east, and south. The north was not really their concern. And then 6,000 tanks, all used as battering rams. 1 million grenades launched into the city before the troops made their way. And then, of course, the invasion began on the 16th of April, 1945, and ended on the 2nd of May of that year. See, the leader, and people often wonder if it was the invasion in just that, or was the Reich falling apart from the inside? It was falling apart from the inside. It was both. Multiple German cities had been conquered by the Allies, and now the capital city was being destroyed by the Russians. And they couldn't function without a capital city, but also the Third Reich was falling apart from within. You see, how so? Well, Hermann Göring, the head of the Luftwaffe in World War II, called Hitler one day after finding out about his suicide plans. I can't quote him word for word, but I can tell you the basic gist of what he said. He basically said, yeah, hey, since you're going anyway, can I take over? And then Hitler fired him and banished him from Germany for life. He would later return for Nuremberg, but he also committed suicide before he could be tried. Heinrich Himmler, head of the SS, head of the Gestapo, head of all concentration camps, seen as the most loyal man to Hitler in all of Germany. The second most powerful man in Germany, the one who would never turn his back on Hitler for any reason, found a reason. They were losing. And he knew that the time had come to admit, maybe Hitler isn't as godlike as I believed him to be. So Himmler negotiates peace with the Allies through Sweden, a neutral country. Hitler finds out and relieves Himmler of all his formal ranks. On the 28th of May, no, not May, but the 28th of April, 1945, Benito Mussolini is killed by an Italian firing squad, hanged by his foot, and dragged through the streets of Italy. And on April 30th, 1945, Adolf Hitler commits suicide, taking his wife, Ava Braun, with him. On the 1st of May, Joseph Goebbels, head of Nazi propaganda, also commits suicide, leaving the leadership to General Bergdorf, who, again, suicide. Himmler is captured by the British, but, again, suicide. Yeah, think about the Nazis. They like to commit suicide, apparently. Goering was also captured, and they were going to put him on trial, but he just took a rope and... And then on the 8th of May, 1945, Wilhelm Keitel, the new most powerful man in Germany, issued the surrender of Germany. And then we had the Nuremberg trials. And then the war was over in Europe, and the Allies turned our attention to the East. Italy and Germany had been dealt with. Now the time had come for the fall of the Japanese Empire.